You know, Christmas is meant to be a time of warmth and togetherness, a season where lights twinkle and families gather around the tree. But sometimes the holidays bring shadows we never expect. They thought it was a Merry Christmas until these 4 horrifying stories happened. Let me share them with you, one by one, from the hearts of those who lived through them. I'll tell each story as if I'm the one who went through it, because that's how close these tales feel to me. Sit back, listen closely, and feel the quiet ache in every word. Imagery: soft snow falling outside a cozy window, a Christmas tree glowing faintly in the background. Gentle piano music fades in. Story 1. The empty chair at the table. When my daughter-in-law looked me in the eyes on Christmas morning and said, "It's time for you to go," I didn't cry. I just nodded and smiled, even though my heart felt like it was cracking into pieces. I'd lived with my son and his family for 5 years, ever since my husband passed away. That house was my home, filled with the laughter of my grandchildren. But that day, everything changed. Let me take you back to how it started. My name is Eleanor, and I was 68 that winter. My son, David, had invited me to move in after I lost my job and my health began to fail. His wife, Sarah, seemed okay with it at first. We'd bake cookies together, and I'd help with the kids' homework. The house was always buzzing with life. Little feet running down the halls, the smell of pine from the tree we decorated as a family. I felt useful, like I belonged. David would hug me and say, "Mom, we need you here." Those words kept me going through the lonely nights. But small things began to shift. Sarah started sighing when I'd leave dishes in the sink by mistake. One evening, as we prepared for Christmas, she snapped at me for buying the wrong kind of wrapping paper. "Eleanor, can't you see we're trying to make this perfect?" she said. I apologized, but it stung. David noticed, but stayed quiet, caught in the middle. The kids, Tommy and Lily, were excited about Santa, drawing pictures of reindeer. I'd read them stories by the fire, and for a moment, everything felt right. Yet, I sensed the tension building like a storm cloud over the holiday lights. Imagery: family kitchen at dusk, steam rising from hot cocoa mugs, children's drawings scattered on the table. Emotional strings joined the piano softly. As Christmas Eve came, we all sat around the dinner table. The turkey was golden and the candles flickered, but Sarah barely spoke to me. After the meal, while the kids opened one early gift, she pulled David aside. I heard whispers, words like burden and our space. My stomach twisted. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd overstayed my welcome. Inner thoughts raced through my mind. Had I done something wrong? Was I too old, too forgetful? The turning point hit on Christmas morning. The kids tore into presents, laughter filling the room. I handed Sarah a scarf I'd knitted, hoping to mend things. She set it aside without a word. Then, as we cleaned up the wrapping paper, she turned to me. "Eleanor, we've decided you need to find your own place. We can't do this anymore." David looked down, ashamed, but silent. It felt like a knife. Betrayal from our own blood. I packed a small bag, my hands shaking. The grandchildren hugged me goodbye, confused. "Why are you leaving, Grandma?" Tommy asked. I whispered. Sometimes grown-ups need space. But inside, I was breaking. The drive to my sister's house was quiet. snow blurring the road. I spent the rest of Christmas alone in her guest room, staring at old photos. The realization sank in. Family isn't always forever. I'd given everything, but it wasn't enough. Days turned to weeks, and David called once, apologizing vaguely. Sarah never did. I found a small apartment eventually, learned to live with the silence. But in time, forgiveness crept in. I visited the kids on weekends, rebuilding what I could. David admitted he'd been weak, and we talked it through. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. That Christmas taught me that love can hurt, but holding on to bitterness hurts more. Let go and find your own light. Imagery. Door closing softly on a snowy porch, empty chair at the festive table. Music swells with a hint of hope. Story 2. The gift that broke us. I unwrapped the package under the tree that Christmas Eve, expecting something sweet from my husband. Instead, a necklace fell out, one I'd never seen, engraved with another woman's name. My world stopped. We'd been married for 12 years, and I thought our life was solid. But that gift revealed the cracks I'd ignored. My name is Laura, and back then I was 39, a teacher with 2 young boys. Our home in the suburbs was decked out for the holidays. Garlands on the stairs, stockings by the fireplace. Mark, my husband, worked long hours as an accountant, but he always made time for family traditions. We'd pick out the tree together, sing carols while decorating. The boys, Jack and Sam, believed in magic, their eyes wide at the lights. I felt grateful, like we'd built something real. Little tensions started in the fall. Mark's phone buzzed late at night, and he'd step outside to answer. Work stuff, he'd say with a smile. I trusted him, pushed the doubts away. As Christmas approached, we shopped for gifts, laughing in the stores. But one day, I found a receipt for jewelry in his coat pocket. I assumed it was for me, felt a warm flutter. We hosted a small party for friends, toasts, and cheer filling the air. Yet Mark seemed distant, checking his watch. Imagery. Living room lit by Christmas lights, wrapped gifts piled high, rain pattering against the window. Piano melody turned somber. Christmas Eve dinner was peaceful at first. The boys ate quickly, eager for bedtime stories. After tucking them in, Mark and I exchanged gifts early, a tradition. He handed me a box, his face tense. I opened it, saw the necklace. To Emily, with love. My breath caught. Who's Emily? I asked softly. He froze, then confessed. An affair at work, months long. It just happened, he said. Tears welled up, but I stayed calm, my voice steady. Inside, betrayal burned like fire. The night blurred. I sat by the window, watching rain mix with snow, while Mark begged for forgiveness. The boys slept unaware. Morning came, and we faked smiles for them, opening presents. But the joy was gone. I told him to leave that afternoon, quietly packing his things. The house felt empty, the tree mocking me. Weeks later, the divorce papers came. I focused on the boys, explaining gently. Mark tried to make amends, but trust was shattered. In time, I found strength in solitude, therapy helping me heal. That Christmas showed me that secrets can destroy, but facing truth sets you free. Cherish honesty, even when it hurts. Imagery. Rain-streaked window reflecting broken ornaments. Silence in the once lively room. Strings add a layer of quiet resolve. Story 3. The Silent Night Search. On Christmas night, I turned around at the family gathering and realized my little girl was gone. The room full of relatives suddenly felt too big, too empty. I called her name, but only echoes answered. Panic rose, but I kept it inside, searching room by room. I'm Maria, 42 that year, a single mom to 5-year-old Sophia. We lived in a small apartment, but Christmas meant going to my parents' house, a big old place in the countryside. The family came from everywhere, aunts, uncles, cousins. The table groaned with food, tamales, pies, eggnog. Sophia loved it, chasing her cousins through the halls, her laughter like bells. I'd watch her, my heart full. After her dad left us 2 years back, these moments meant everything. The evening started warm. We sang songs, exchanged gifts. Sophia got a doll she'd begged for, hugging it tight. But as the night went on, adults chatted. Kids played hide and seek. I helped in the kitchen, washing dishes, assuming she was safe. A cousin mentioned not seeing her for a while. My stomach dropped. Sophia? I called, checking bedrooms, the basement. Nothing. Imagery. Crowded family table with half-eaten plates, flickering candlelight, door ajar to the dark outdoors. Music builds tension subtly. The turning point was when we searched outside. Snow covered the ground, footprints everywhere. The woods behind the house were thick, dark. Flashlights in hand, we called out. Hours passed. Police arrived, questions flying. When did you last see her? My mind raced. Had she wandered off? Been taken? Inner fears whispered worse cases. I imagined her cold, scared, alone. Christmas turned to nightmare. We searched all night, neighbors joining. Dawn broke, no sign. Exhaustion hit, but I couldn't stop. Then a call. Sophia found in the old barn, curled up asleep with her doll. She'd followed a cat, got lost, hid when scared. Relief flooded me, tears finally coming as I held her. The aftermath brought guilt. I realized I'd been distracted, trusting too much. We talked, hugged more, family bonded closer. That night taught me vigilance in joy's midst. Holidays are precious. Hold loved ones tight. Imagery. Barn door creaking open to reveal a sleeping child. Family embracing. In the snow, music resolves to warmth. Story 4. The Flames of Memory. I smelled smoke on Christmas morning, faint at first, then choking. Our home, decorated with lights and love, was burning. I grabbed my family, but not everything could be saved. That fire took more than walls. It stole pieces of us. My name is Thomas, 55, father to 3 teens. Our farmhouse was our haven, generations old. Christmas was big, tree towering, stocking stuffed. Wife Anna baked all week. Scents of cinnamon filling the air. The kids, Mia, Ben, Chloe, helped string lights. Excitement buzzing. I'd lost my job earlier, but we focused on togetherness. Tensions simmered quietly. Money tight. Gifts modest. Anna worried, but we smiled through. Christmas Eve, we watched movies by the fire. Peaceful. I checked the tree lights before bed. Old wiring, but seemed fine. Imagery. Cozy farmhouse interior. Trees sparkling. Family asleep upstairs. Piano shifts to uneasy notes. Woke to alarms blaring. Smoke poured under the door. Fire! I yelled, waking everyone. We rushed out. barefoot in snow. Flames licked the roof. Faulty lights sparked it. Firefighters came, but the house was gutted. We watched it burn. Holidays ruined. Photos, heirlooms, gone. Standing in the cold, realization hit. We'd survived, but loss ached. Shelter at relatives, we grieved. Insurance helped rebuild, but scars remained. Kids had nightmares. Anna and I grew closer in hardship. Time healed some. New home, new traditions. That Christmas reminded me, material things fade, but family endures. Be grateful for the now before it's ash. Imagery, flames dying down to embers, family huddled together watching. Music ends on a hopeful chord. And there you have it. These 4 stories, each a reminder that even in the merriest times, life can turn dark. But from the pain comes quiet strength, a chance to forgive, to hold tighter. If you've faced your own holiday shadows, know you're not alone. There's always hope in the new year. Good night, and may your Christmases be filled with true light. You know, sometimes the hardest Christmases are the ones that look perfect from the outside. The lights are bright, the table is full, and everyone is smiling for the photos. But behind those smiles, pain can hide, quietly, waiting for the right moment to spill out. In the first 4 stories, we walked through betrayal, loss, fear, and fire. Now let me share 4 more. Gentle voices from people who thought this would be their merriest Christmas yet, until everything changed. I'll tell them the same way, as if they happened to me, because when you hear them, they feel close to your own heart. Imagery, a quiet living room after everyone has gone to bed. Only the Christmas tree lights still glowing. Soft piano returns, slow and tender. Story 5. The letter I was never meant to read. I found the letter on Christmas Eve, tucked inside my husband's coat pocket while I was looking for his gloves. It was folded small, the envelope addressed to him in handwriting I didn't recognize. I shouldn't have opened it, but I did, and what I read stole the air from my lungs. My name is Grace, and I was 45 that December. Robert and I had been married for 21 years. We had 3 children, 2 in college, 1 still at home. Our house was the one everyone came to for holidays. Strings of lights along the roof, wreaths on every door. The big tree in the front window that neighbors slowed down to see. I loved making it beautiful. I'd spend weeks planning the menu, wrapping gifts in matching paper, baking until the whole house smelled like vanilla and pine. Robert would help hang the lights outside, grumbling a little but smiling when I kissed his cold cheek. We felt like a team, but that year, something was off. Robert had been quieter than usual. He'd stay late at the office, come home tired, go straight to bed. I told myself it was work stress. The company was cutting jobs. Money was tight. I tried to make things easier at home. I'd leave little notes in his lunch, rub his shoulders when he sat on the couch. He would thank me, but his eyes looked far away. Christmas Eve arrived cold and clear. The kids were home, laughing in the kitchen as we made sugar cookies. Robert said he had to run to the store for more milk. When he came back, his coat was damp from snow. Later, as we got ready for midnight service, I reached into his pocket for his gloves and felt the envelope. My fingers trembled as I pulled it out. The return address had no name, just a street I didn't know. I told myself to put it back, but I couldn't. I slipped into the bathroom, closed the door, and opened it. It was from a woman named Claire. She wrote about how much she missed him, how their time together was the only bright spot in her week. She talked about stolen lunches, secret phone calls, a hotel room they'd shared twice. She ended with, "I know you can't leave her yet, but one day." I stood there, staring at the words until they blurred. My knees felt weak. All the noise from the kitchen, the kids singing carols, the timer beeping for cookies, faded away. I folded the letter, put it back exactly as I'd found it, and walked out smiling. That night at church, I held Robert's hand while the choir sang Silent Night. I looked at the candles, the families around us, and felt completely alone. Imagery: church interior lit by candlelight, snow falling outside stained glass windows, music soft and aching. Christmas morning came. The kids tore open presents, paper flying everywhere. Robert gave me a new watch, kissed my cheek, told me he loved me. I thanked him, my voice steady. Inside, everything was breaking. We ate breakfast, played games, took photos by the tree. I moved through it all like a ghost. That afternoon, when the house was quiet and the kids were playing with new toys, I asked Robert to walk with me in the backyard. Snow crunched under our boots. I pulled the letter from my pocket. I'd taken it again while he showered and handed it to him. He read it in silence. His face went pale. "Grace," he started. I didn't yell. I just asked, "How long?" "6 months," he said. It started as friendship at work. He swore it wasn't serious, that he was going to end it. He cried, begged me not to leave, promised to fix everything. The days after Christmas were gray. The kids went back to school not knowing. Robert moved into the guest room. We went to counseling. He ended things with Claire. I checked his phone, saw the messages. Slowly, painfully, we talked about loneliness, about taking each other for granted, about how easy it is to drift. It took a year. Some nights I wasn't sure we'd make it, but we did. We learned to speak honestly, to listen, to choose each other again every day. That letter broke something in me, but it also woke us up. Sometimes the worst gifts come wrapped in pain. They force you to see what's real and decide what you're willing to fight for. Imagery: snow-covered backyard, 2 figures standing close, breath visible in the cold air. Music lifts gently. Story 6: the call that came too late. Christmas Day was supposed to be our big family reunion. My brother Michael was driving in from across the state with his wife and little girls. I'd spent days cooking his favorites: roast beef, mashed potatoes, pecan pie. The table was set for 12. But the phone rang at noon, and everything stopped. I'm Helen, 62 years old that winter. I'd lost my husband 5 years earlier, so family gatherings meant the world to me. My house was filled with memories, photos on every wall, my mother's old ornaments on the tree. Michael was my only sibling, and we were close growing up. Life pulled us in different directions, but Christmas always brought us back. That year, he called a week before to say they were coming. His girls were excited to see Grandma Helen. I bought them dolls and books, wrapped everything with care. My own daughter and her family were already there, helping decorate. The house felt alive again. Christmas morning, we opened gifts slowly, savoring each one. The grandchildren ran around in new pajamas. I kept checking the clock. Michael said they'd arrive by lunch. Noon came. No car in the driveway. I called his cell. No answer. I told myself roads were icy. They were just delayed. Then the phone rang. It wasn't Michael's number. A man's voice, calm and official. "Is this Helen Carter?" "This is Officer Ramirez." There had been an accident. Black ice on the highway. A truck lost control. Michael and his wife didn't make it. The girls were in the hospital, hurt but stable. I don't remember dropping the phone. I remember my daughter catching me as my legs gave out. The room spun. All I could think was, they were coming to me. They were on their way here. Imagery. Festive table fully set, chairs waiting, phone cord dangling. Outside, gray sky and empty road. Strings play a single, sorrowful note. The rest of the day blurred, family gathered close, no one knowing what to say. We drove to the hospital 2 hours away. I held my niece's hands, little Sarah with a broken arm, Emma with stitches on her forehead. They kept asking for Mommy and Daddy. I told them they were with the angels now, my voice breaking. We buried Michael and Lisa 3 days later. The house that had been so full of Christmas cheer felt hollow. I left the tree up for weeks, couldn't bear to take it down. Grief came in waves. Some days I functioned, cooking, cleaning, caring for the girls who came to live with me. Other days I sat in Michael's old chair and cried until there were no tears left. Time softened the edges. The girls grew, calling me Mom sometimes by mistake, then hugging me tighter. We kept Michael's traditions. His favorite pie every Christmas, his silly stocking he hung crooked. That awful day taught me something I wish I never had to learn. Love doesn't protect us from loss, but it does carry us through it. Hold your people close while you can. Say the words today. Tomorrow isn't promised. Imagery. 2 little girls asleep in a big bed, an older woman watching over them, tree lights still twinkling in the background, music warm again like a lullaby. Story 7. The Secret. My mother took to her grave. On the morning after Christmas, I found my mother unconscious on the kitchen floor. Beside her was an open bottle of pills and a note addressed to me. She'd been hiding her pain for months, and I never saw it. My name is Daniel, 38 that year. Mom had moved in with me and my family after Dad died. She was 70, still sharp, always helping with my kids. She baked bread every Sunday, read stories in funny voices, kept the garden blooming. We thought she was adjusting well, but looking back, there were signs. She'd lost weight, slept more, said her back hurt, but brushed off doctor visits. "I'm fine, Danny, just old," she'd say with a smile. Christmas was lovely. Mom insisted on cooking most of the meal. We ate too much, laughed at old stories, watched the kids hunt for the pickle ornament on the tree. She seemed tired but happy, kissing everyone's cheeks before bed. I found her the next morning when I came down for coffee. The note was short. "I'm sorry, my sweet boy. The pain is too much. I didn't want to burden you. I love you all so much." She'd been diagnosed with cancer 6 months earlier, terminal. She chose not to treat it aggressively, not to tell us. Wanted our last months to be normal. Imagery. Kitchen at dawn. Christmas decorations still up. A woman's hand reaching out. Soft light through the window. Piano slow and heavy. We rushed her to the hospital. She lingered for 4 days, long enough for me to sit by her bed, holding her hand, telling her everything I needed her to hear, that I wasn't angry, that I understood, that I wished she'd let us carry it with her. She passed quietly on New Year's Eve. We played her favorite hymns at the funeral, cleaned out her room later and found journals, pages of love for us, fear of being a burden, gratitude for every day. I struggled with guilt for a long time. How did I miss it? But I came to see her choice as the last gift she gave us, sparing us months of watching her fade. It wasn't perfect, but it was her love. Now every Christmas, we leave an empty chair at the table for Mom. We tell the kids stories about her. Pain and love can live in the same heart. Sometimes people hide their hurt to protect the ones they love most. Look closer, ask gently. Be there. Imagery, empty chair at a candlelit table, family holding hands in prayer. Music resolves peacefully. Story 8. The Stranger at the Door. It was Christmas night, snow coming down hard when the knock came. I opened the door to a young man I'd never seen before, shivering in a thin jacket. He looked at me with eyes full of tears and said, "I'm sorry to bother you, but I think you're my father." I'm Richard, 58 years old. My wife Ellen and I had raised 2 daughters, now grown and gone for the holiday with their own families. It was our first quiet Christmas, just the 2 of us. A small tree, a simple dinner. Peaceful, we'd said. I'd had a brief relationship before meeting Ellen back in my 20s, a woman named Karen. It ended when I moved away for work. I'd heard she had a son, but never reached out. Life moved on. I married Ellen, built a family, let the past stay past. The young man, Jacob, stood on the porch, holding a folded paper. "My mom died last month," he said quietly. "She told me before she passed. Gave me your name, this address." Ellen came to the door, saw his face, and knew. He looked just like me at that age. We invited him in, sat by the fire. He told us about his life, growing up without a dad, his mom's struggle with illness, how she'd always spoken kindly of me. He wasn't angry, he said, just wanted to know where he came from. Imagery, snowy porch light, a young man silhouetted, warm glow from inside, fire crackling softly. That night changed everything. We talked for hours, showed him photos of our family. He cried. We cried. Ellen held his hand and said, "You're welcome here." The days that followed were strange and beautiful. Our daughters came home, met their brother, at first shocked, then embracing him. We learned about each other's lives, filled in blanks. It wasn't simple. There were hard conversations about my absence, about choices long ago. But forgiveness grew slowly, like spring after winter. Jacob became part of our family. He comes every Christmas now. That stranger at the door brought healing neither of us expected. Sometimes the past knocks when we least expect it. Open the door. Grace lives there. Imagery, family around the tree, one more stocking hung, arms around a new face. Music swells with hope. These 8 stories, each one a Christmas turned upside down by truth, loss, or unexpected grace. Yet in every one, light found its way back in. Not the bright, flashy kind, but the quiet kind that grows in honest hearts. If your holiday feels heavy this year, know that's okay. pain doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're human. Hold space for it. Share it if you can. And remember, the story isn't over. There's always room for healing, for new beginnings, for love to surprise us again. Take care of your heart, and may the days ahead bring you gentle peace.